just piggybacking on what you're talking about, communicating your inner being. Um, so there's different ways of that guidance to come through, whether it be through dreams or through thoughts or through visions or through. So, in desiring to expand those ways of communication, um, if you're not okay, if you're not like, if you want to be able to see, like a vision, or have feeling that unconditional love of a higher being, and wanting to see a presence, as an example.
Yes.
So if you're not, is it because you're not doing whatever it means, like spending the time, or is it you're not at that place in your current evolution?
It's a good question. All humans have latent psychic and spiritual abilities. All of them have the same abilities. It just becomes a matter of preference as to which ability you would like to utilize and perceive in the physical. Howsoever, each soul in physical body will not allow the experience, the release of a spiritual ability, of a psychic ability, if the entity, if in physical form, the neuronal structure cannot handle it. I'll give you a very simple example. There are many who would love to be able to once again see dear ones that have transitioned back into non-physical, yes? But if they did, they would become terrified. They would become afraid. It would not be a loving experience because of the belief systems of the individual. And so and remember that belief systems have their own unique energy signatures, yes? And if they are not ready to experience spiritual abilities, if their belief systems are constructed in such a way that it would not be an experience that they could utilize that is beneficial for their support, the soul will block it. And so the question becomes the examination process then. If someone is attempting and would like to have certain experiences or certain abilities come forward into their life, into their experience, to offer it, to utilize it for themselves, the question becomes then, what belief systems, what thoughts are in place that are blocking the experience from coming forward? For it is yourself that is blocking them, you see. There is no one around you that has the authority to block them for you. It is choice. And so it then becomes very beneficial, for instance, and this is something that Michelle has had to consider. There are loved ones who have transitioned that she would dearly, dearly, dearly love to see again. But she is still grappling, is the word. Grappling is too strong of a word here in this situation. Considering what the experience would be like. Would she be able to be clairvisual? Now, there are many people. There are many psychic people, very intuitive people who are clairvisual, yes? And they are not. They do not have a question or an issue with being clairvisual. And so for them, it is an ability that is very natural. And it is one that they can share with others who would like to have those communications and still have not. So if you would like to have a certain ability come forward because you already possess it, you must know this. Whatever ability you have, you already possess it. The question is how to release it. And again, everything is energy, yes? So now we must examine your energy. And so let us examine the gift, the ability, the natural ability that you would like to release in this experience.
The visual.
You would like to be clairvisual. Yeah. And so then have you imagined in your mind being clairvisual and how that would feel?
Well, I did, after my mom passed, I did see a shadow, which I knew was her at night. And it was just a loving, it was very loving.
You could feel the energy of love.
Yes.
If she could appear in front of you as you remember her image, yes?
Yes.
How would you feel if one day you were watching TV in the living room and her image appeared before you, what do you think your response would be?
It'd be, surprise
And there's
I don't
nothing
know.
wrong. There is nothing wrong with not being sure. It is the exact same place where this one is sitting as well. Yes. And so, but let us go into the unsureness aspect for you. Yes? Let us examine what you are unsure of and why, because there we will find the blockage. Continue. Why are you unsure of what your reaction would be?
Because I guess it would depend on my state of mind. Whether I was an open meditative, I might be more able to embrace it as opposed to, like watching something scary on TV. Then that might bring fear.
Do you watch scary things on TV?
Actually, I don't. I usually avoid them, so.
Okay. So then let us go back to what is most likely. You are doing the laundry. You are cooking dinner. You are brushing your teeth. If your mother appeared to you in any of these conditions, how would you feel?
I would be ecstatic if just that she was there.
And what conditions are you unsure of that she could appear and you would not feel those things? There is something there. We must find it in order for you to remove that issue, that energy of thought. Being clairvisual is as natural as breathing air, you see. And so it is your energy, it is your being that is blocking it. And so what you would like to know is why. And that can only be ascertained consciously in this way, or you may utilize the techniques that I offered in the last question, because what you're wanting is information. Yes? Now that you understand, it is your own being that is blocking the ability, and it can be unblocked. And so then the question becomes, what information, which is just energy, do I need to alter and rearrange to allow this more naturally to come forth, you see? And so we can do a little bit of investigation here. What is the condition that could arise where your being able to see your mother now would be negative or frightening or disconcerting or startling?
I'm not coming up with anything. I mean, every aspect seems to be like it would be a joyful thing.
Because you love her.
Right.
And because she loves you. But you understand, you're not just wanting to be clairvisual to only see your mother. The ability, once released, then you will be able to see. You understand? How do you feel about that?
All right, say that again.
The reason why you only feel joy in being clairvisual is because you think of it with your mother, whom you love,
right,
and who still loves you. It's love. Of course, all of it's going to feel good, but you understand that the ability to be clairvisual does not end with your mother.
Okay.
It begins with your, I heard the energy. It begins with your mother. Your mother is the impetus, is the initial energetic desire for the ability to come forth.
They have to be open to whatever would come, no matter what
to the ability in general, to see his mother, to see someone else's mother, someone you don't know, someone you did not have a love relationship with here in this life can appear to you. You understand? Mm-hmm. How would that feel to you?
Okay, I guess there's
the block. You cannot be afraid of yourself or your abilities. To be afraid of your abilities is to be afraid of yourself. And then the question becomes, why are you afraid? What do you think would happen if you could see the beings in non-physical? You see, that is why you do not see your mother, because you must answer that question. What is the wrongness in seeing other loved ones? There may be people who are not clairvisual, who would like to have communications with their loved ones who have transitioned, who are still on their path of awakening and evolution, who are not yet having released their psychic abilities, yes, because of their own energy, their own blocks. And so then the question becomes, what is fearful of non-physical? And let me assist you with this a little bit. Do you believe in negative entities? Do you believe in good and evil? Do you believe in demonic possessions? Do you believe that all that is, which is the source of unconditional love, created evil? Did evil come from love? Does the energy of evil even resonate with the energy of love? Understand this. The idea of evil and bad and wrong were man-made concepts. Those who have the understanding and have chosen to believe that all that came from all that is good and loving and helpful and supportive and unconditional. And in nothing in those words is there an opportunity for the energy of negative entities to be attracted into the experience, you see. The belief system doesn't support it. You create your own reality, you see. Now, let me say, the validity of the experience of someone who does have the belief system of good and evil, of negative entities, their experience with negative entities is valid because they are creating the experiences that are based on their beliefs, meaning their experiences are a mirror reflection of their inner thoughts, you see. Your soul is not going to allow you to experience being clairvisual because you only think of it as positive in terms of the love experience you had with your mother. You have a belief structure that makes you afraid of the ability, you see, and the ability is good, and it is more connected with all that is. It is more connecting you of your cognitive perception of this reality and others, you see. There's no wrongness in that unless you think there are. And so your task then is to decide. Again, the problem is choice. Are you going to believe that because others have created a reality where they have legitimately experienced unpleasant experiences with negative entities which they created, which is why it's real for them? Does that mean that you are required to also believe what they are creating? Or can you choose to believe something different and have a different experience? You see, people who are clairvisual, whose that ability has been able to become present in their experience, they're not afraid. They may have mechanisms that they have created, you see, to hold off negative entities if they believe in such, yes, but there's been a compensation for their belief systems if they believe there is harm there. But there is no harm in love. It was always good. It has been good throughout time, and it still is. You can choose to believe that, or if you want to still have this ability come forth, then you had better get some mechanisms in place to deal with negative entities, which of course are only a reflection of your belief in evil. And so there's a little bit of shape-shifting here that you have to do with your thoughts. If you think you cannot alter your belief in negative entities, then you will have to put systems in place that will allow you to feel safe and protected as you become clairvisual. But to do neither is to not have the ability.